class, and welcome back to the Nerd Academy Podcast. Hosted by our headmaster, Jared Bachman Stubbs, you can find all of us here at the Nerd Academy Podcast on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and on our website at www.thenerdacademypodcast.com. Our shows, the Nerd Academy Podcast, Knights of the Nerd Republic, and Campus Life are released weekly at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, wherever you listen to podcasts. And don't forget, check out our Patreon, where every donation helps to keep the lights on.
Hello there, and welcome back to Knights of the Nerd Republic. I am your host, Jared the Dark Jedi Bachman Stubbs, and on the show this week, we have the Professor Levi Baum.
Oyo boyos, how's it going? It's good to be back.
In full colonial regalia.
Late colonial revolutionary.
Yes, he's looking hot and period right now. We got the Sentinel, Joel Basin back.
Hello.
We got the Lore Keeper, Connor Chikiti.
Hello there, everyone. Hope everyone has had a great week and a great weekend so far.
We have the Consular herself, Alexis Capel.
What up, folks?
And making his triumphant return back to our little galaxy far, far away, we have...
Wait a
minute. It started as the Mandalorian theme.
No.
I thought you were doing the That's what I thought you were doing.
No, it was always Rocky, baby.
I thought
it was always Rocky.
Silly me for thinking we went with his fucking nickname. Anyway, Spencer's back.
The Mando himself.
I just love how we all share a brain cell.
Anyway, it's me. Hi, guys. Spence the Mando Simpson coming at you after
Best
like
introduction
a month and a half.
ever.
I'm bringing my kazoo next time.
Yes!
You should have brought it for
Where's
this
my
one.
harmonica?
You should have done it for this one, for the episode, and just like the whole time, like you don't weigh in at all, just on the kazoo, just.
I can drive.
Sorry.
Put the episode on hold. So this week we were bringing you guys a topic episode, one that I've wanted to do for a while, and I was like, you know what, we have Spencer back. We've said before, everybody has their own everybody who loves Star Wars has their pocket thing that they're obsessed about with Star Wars. You have shit people, you have the bounty hunter kind of people. This is an episode for my heart. We are ranking the lightsaber battles of the Skywalker saga. The only stipulations here, or not even necessarily stipulations, I put the Praetorian Guard fight and Ben Solo fighting the Knights of Ren on here because they're lightsaber-proof weapons, and I feel like they count. And it's not just a giant gunfight. So if you don't like them being on the list, remove them from your list in your head. Jumping into this, we are going in chronological order. So we're starting with Maul versus Qui-Gon Jinn on Tatooine.
Are they in chronological order?
Yes.
Yes, thank you. Thank you. That makes my life so much easier.
It makes all our lives easier.
Yes, we're just going from the first duel all the way to I Am All the Jedi. So, Qui-Gon versus Maul.
Yeah.
Hey, are these just live action movies?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, it's all the movies.
Yeah.
All the movies.
Skywalker
We
All the
don't
live
have to
action
use the
ones.
Clone
We don't
Wars
have
as
to
well.
use the Clone
And
Wars.
and I don't
That's
have
what I was
Anakin
asking.
versus
And they're-
Dooku on Tatooine. And
And
also
also,
don't have,
I don't think the hallway massacre from Solo really counts as
From
a
Solo?
lightsaber.
Rogue One.
Sorry.
Fucking
Oh my
casual.
God.
Sorry, Connor.
This is your trivia champion? This is your trivia
I
champion?
have seen Solo, a Star Wars story, like 3 times in the last week. It's fresh on my lips.
That's solid. I haven't
Hashtag
seen
make
a Star
Solo 2
Wars
happen.
movie in a while.
So who goes first?
I'll go.
Okay, your thoughts on Qui-Gon v. Maul on
We could
Tatooine?
go alphabetical order.
Thoughts or just ranking?
Yeah, we'll do like a brief, thoughts on the fight.
Thoughts.
Like I said,
is,
this one's gonna be a
classic. It's just classic.
The one on Tatooine.
Wait, what?
Anakin drop.
Right. The next one is.
Yes.
Oh, then
The next one is actually iconic.
God. Okay. Yeah. Sorry.
This
I
one's
didn't
poorly
catch the whole
edited with
Tatooine part.
rubber Darth
Right.
Maul at the beginning.
3.
Sure.
I have no thoughts, and it's a 3. It involves lightsabers, so it automatically gets a 2. I know.
That's your
they're all.
default. That's your default.
Nothing can get below 2 because it has a lightsaber, and that's already worth.
I'm
some
looking at a
points.
couple of these that are going to hit 2 for me. Spencer, your thoughts on Qui-Gon v. Maul, Tatooine?
It's generally unremarkable, except for the fact that it's like since Maul only has one blade activated, it's kind of the closest thing to a saber pike fight we get in the Skywalker saga. So I mean, like, I'm about it. It's not like the best thing ever, but it's an interesting little. It's almost like for that 30-second fight, he's fighting with a completely different weapon, and that's cool. So it would be a 2 for me typically, but because of that cute little pseudo saber pike action, I'll give it a 3.
Okay.
Right.
It's just, like I said, it's generally unremarkable except for that.
That
so
is very
that hence the low score out of 10.
That's fair.
Yes.
Levi,
Me?
yes, your thoughts on this, like, 15-second fight?
I'm giving it a 6.
Really?
Due to the foreshadowing, the purpose of it was to foreshadow.
Yeah.
So that's just a brief introduction to Maul, and Maul versus Qui-Gon, right? By the time Qui-Gon gets onto the ship, he's breathing heavy already. So that's telling of what's going to happen toward the end of the movie.
Okay.
So it's very good storytelling, actually.
I respect that.
So I'm giving it a 6.
Levi's giving it a 6. Levi is going to save this this duel from the lower quartile, I have a feeling. Lexi, your thoughts on this unremarkable fight?
I was gonna give it a 2 because of how quick it was and like kind of boring to me.
5 seconds.
But
Done.
Levi kind of redeemed it a little bit because he is kind of right.
Yeah.
But a solid 2.5.
Solid.
I was going to give it a 2, but Levi kind of redeemed it for me.
2.5.
So I'm going to give it slightly above a 2.
It is worth 1/4.
1/4 portion.
Yes.
2 bits.
Connor, you're...
Since I'm in the garb.
Yeah.
You know how often I
bits.
use the term 2 bits and no one like even understands? Thank you, Levi.
You're welcome. You're welcome, Spencer.
Connor, thoughts on Maul v. Qui-Gon, Dawn of the Desert?
It's cool.
Thank you,
The thing
Spencer.
that really does it for me is the fact that it's the first saber duel between a Jedi and a Sith in
Yeah,
almost over 1,000 years. So
that's pretty cool.
I'd rank it. I'd give it a 5 or so just because of that alone. So and it's like for it being short, it's still a cool fight. So.
I am solidly in the not horribly impressed camp with this one. Like I made the joke earlier, Darth Maul, when he dismounts from his speeder bike, is some of the worst CGI in the prequels. He's just this horrifying, like, man made of rubber, the way he lands and, like, takes his saber off his belt. Like, it looks like one of the really bad shots in the Raimi Spider-Man movies.
Makes you uncomfortable.
It really makes me uncomfortable.
That's the dark side.
Yeah, exactly. The dark side of the
Turns you
Force is a
into rubber
pathway to many edits, some consider to be quite bad. And that's another thing, is I think the editing is absolutely terrible. That's going to be my biggest issue with a lot of these duels, is that
it
there are
feels like
just...
it's cut weird.
Yeah,
There's just the camera's positioned in this weird way where all you see are just shoulders and lightsaber blades and none of the action from a wider angle. Like, you just get the one shot of, like, the click clack, and then the rest of it is just sabers and shoulders until Qui-Gon jumps onto the the Naboo ship.
I bet you in the original cut, it was fine.
Release the Lucas cut. No, I mean, and in the novel, like the duel's a little bit longer and it's more fun. And there's like another little bit where Maul jumps onto the ship with Qui-Gon and Qui-Gon kicks him off.
Oh boy.
And I feel like if they kept that in, this would be a solid 6 for me. But I'm sitting at about a 2.5 as well. 0.5.
What's our total?
So
Wait,
I'm gonna
what about
snap
Lex?
a pick.
Oh wait, Lexi already did.
Yeah.
Snap
I
a
did.
pick.
I
Write
So we
the
got-
total.
I thought we were saving the best for last.
Oh,
Lexi.
that's what we're doing. Just a
12,
cumulative
13,
total.
14, 15,
Not
16,
an
17,
average.
No, we are
That's
averaging it.
20, 22 total.
Okay, so 22 total, and then how
out
many of us are
of-
on?
60.
60
6 of us
people?
are on.
22 divided by 6 is a 3.6666666666667.
So thank you, Jared
Math,
and Lexi.
Yeah,
Joel just gave me a look.
yeah, we got.
He was
so-
like, "What?"
I was like really confused how you got that number.
Oh,
Well, it was
I just-
3.6 repeated, so I rounded the final 6 to a 7.
All right.
But is it?
I came on here for nerd
It's
stuff,
a
not that
36.6.
type of nerd stuff.
Yeah, can we, like-
3.666. 36.6.
Okay, so are we rounding it up?
It's 36%.
Yeah. What?
Are we
No.
rounding it up to
What?
3.7?
22 out of 60.
20. no,
6
it's
people, 10 points each.
22 divided by 6.
Oh, sweet
Yeah.
fuck. Or was it 3.6 or 3.7?
Holy shit.
3.6 is the average score,
Guys, just
But-
it's
I'm zoning
3.6.
out.
but the total
I'm zoning out.
score.
Okay.
Goodbye, Lexi.
3.6 out of 10.
Okay.
22 divided by 6 is 3.666666667.
But what I was doing was each
Have it
person
at
has
that,
10
let's get
points,
to the
right?
Duel
next
of the Fates.
duel.
Can we just
I
not
don't
make this a
wanna-
big deal? I just want to talk about it.
Stay
Joel,
on
we
here for
don't
2
want to talk
hours
about it. We
because
have
you
like
guys can't
13
math
other duels
right.
we got to get to.
Duel of the Fates. Like Joel said, this one is
10.
iconic. Joel.
Like Joel mistakenly said about the duel in the desert, this one is iconic.
10. Straight up.
Okay, not even gonna go into it.
Not even going to go into it. I think it deserves a 10.
It speaks for itself. Okay, Spencer,
This
would
fight
you like to riff on Duel of the
2 and
Fates?
10 speak
This
for
fight is dynamic in a lot of different ways, in the fighting styles, in the locations, in the outside influences, like the stuff that's going on around it. And like, if you have not yet, watch The Mandalorian behind the scenes thing on Disney
I'm
Plus.
so glad this is getting
to
Oh
hear
my
hear
gosh.
Dave Filoni blow your mind about what's going on here, and like just
That was beautiful.
like lightsaber fight aside, this is like maybe the most important moment in the Skywalker saga, really. And
At least it's the moment it becomes a tragedy.
yes, and like the whole tone of it, like the direction of the whole thing shifts at this point, and thinking about what could have been if the outcome was different, and thinking about what is because it ended the way it did, is just like, it's really powerful. Now that's the lightsaber fighting aside. With the lightsaber fighting going on, like I said, very dynamic, really cool fighting styles between the three combatants, and watching them interact with each other throughout the fight is a real treat. So I'm going to give this fight, on the scale of objectivity, a 9.25. Yeah, that's right.
What kind of rating is that?
It is 9 1/4.
why? Just why?
9 and 2 bits.
Because I felt like 9 was too low and 9.5 was too high.
Or 74 bits.
Get it.
Levi.
I'm sorry, Connor. I am the way I am. Would you be friends with me if I was anything different?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we'd
Yes.
probably like you more
Yes,
if you weren't
yes,
this way.
and we wish that you would change, please.
Levi, thoughts on the Duel of the
Salted.
Fates?
Um,
Don't ever dude me ever again.
it's a 10 for me.
It's a 10?
I think it's the pinnacle of saber fighting in the live action Star Wars.
All right.
Just dynamic. I think the choreography was the most competently put together. I think it flows the best. The tension that the tension that exists, because Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan keep getting separated, and then Obi-Wan's in those screen doors.
Screen doors.
And they make the sound like a cauterizer, and so I phantom smell blood.
Yeah.
Phantom
Because
smell.
I got cauterized for like pre-skin cancer or whatever. That's not related, but
Drop that bomb.
So what we're hearing is that this fight goes way deeper emotionally for Levi Baum.
This fight is anything but skin deep for Levi.
wow.
All right.
That was my retirement joke. I hope you're all happy that I'm going into the sunset now.
I think Duel of the can we even call this Duel of the Fates now?
Yeah,
Yeah.
why not?
Because
That's
Duel of the
the
Fates is
name
now
of it.
an episode in the Clone Wars.
Yeah, of course we can
Oh,
call
yeah.
this Duel of the
This
Fates.
is
Alright.
the Duel of Fate.
The
yeah.
Duel of the Fates.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it is the staple. Like when you're looking at a Star Wars fight scene, well, how does it hold up against the Duel of the Fates?
All right.
So question, on the list we have following this also Maul v Obi-Wan.
Yes, specifically they're one-on-one.
Okay, so
We're categorizing the Duel of the Fates up to Maul running Qui-Gon.
well,
through.
hold on, because that changes things. From my understanding, I think we should rate the whole thing as like from start to finish Maul die. Start to finish Maul die.
That's what I'm thinking too.
and then specifically just Maul versus Obi-Wan as its own. But like, because we can't cut off the end for the rating we just did. I don't think.
Cut off.
Okay, I mean, that's fair. I was categorized in my mind. I see the Duel of the Fates as them both fighting, and that the Duel of the Fates ends when Qui-Gon is killed, and then it is the Obi-Wan Maul grudge match.
Nah, the Duel of Fates is until
Is
he
the- we're
dies.
calling it the whole thing.
I think it is the whole thing.
Okay,
The
well,
whole
we-
thing.
From a storytelling standpoint, you are right. I'll agree with you, but I think just
For the sake
from
of
from
simplicity,
pure
yeah.
okay, that makes sense. All right, cool. Well, I don't think anybody's rankings change if we add a great part of the fight. into
I
the rest
already
of the
had
fight.
it in it.
Yeah.
So
Because everyone's getting annoyed at me, I'm just gonna go to 9.5. Erase the 2.
Thank
please.
you.
It is erase the 2. It's now 9.05.
I know you.
You're such a dick. Alexis, your thoughts on the Duel
I'm
of the
gonna head
Fates?
out.
This is my triumphant
solid-
return. Don't take this from me.
A solid 10. I love Ray Park. I love the choreography.
He's not drunk.
I love
He swears he's
everything
overdrinking.
about it. It's the pinnacle of what the downfall of a lot of things are. So, yeah, 10.
Excellent. Connor, thoughts on the dot?
Hello.
All I got.
Hello.
Pretty much everything you guys have said just on point. I'll give it a 9.9.
Oh my god.
Who's being annoying now?
he didn't give us a word that time.
He didn't. No, we were starting a word ranking
Yeah.
for those.
The best. Who has the best word?
For what?
Because if your first sentence is, well, it's really cool, and then you give it a 5, well, now cool means 5.
Oh, I see. Okay.
I'm particularly doing this for Connor because over the months I've noticed that there are certain words, right, that he uses when he's hyping something up, and I want to know, like,
The pattern.
how hype it is.
So cool is about a 5.
Right.
I love the Connor system of grading things now.
Jared,
Just follow my Twitter and you'll know.
Yeah. This duel shaped my childhood in a really weirdly obsessive way. am on record as singing this song under my breath all the time as a kid.
We are all here. Well,
Yeah.
us three
Oh,
are
wait a
on
second.
record
That was my
singing
other
it
thing.
in
I forgot to
class.
add it. We sang this song.
Yes.
In our choir.
Yeah.
In our choir.
In high school, we sang Duel of the Fates for those listening.
And what would eventually become the Knights of the Nerd Republic podcast willed it into existence. And I'm very happy with that. I love the choreography. That goes without saying. The only real on-screen use of a saber staff, not counting Darkseid, Vision, Rey, and Rise of Skywalker as far as live action goes. Again, this is going to be my only real nitpick with a lot of these fights. The editing, there are some sequences that are a little bit choppy, but other than that, I can happily give this a 9.5. I think this is the best fight in the prequels. I think this goes without. I don't think anything else can touch it.
Agreed.
As far as the prequels are concerned. But I have some spicy hot takes coming once we get to
math.
Let's average that.
I'm working on it.
Joel, they have these fabulous inventions called calculators.
You could just use your phone calculator.
Well, it was all simple until we got 9.05 going here.
No, I said 9.5. I just said 0.5 to be a turd.
Well, he had it written as...
Okay.
So I was just going with what was written. It was 9.5 plus 9.05 plus 9.9 that I was working on in my head and wasn't going very well.
Naturally.
Okay, what's the total?
This is going to take all night.
58.9 divided by 6. We're looking at a 9.82.
Average score
Yeah.
of
Average
9.82.
score of 9.8.
Rounded to the nearest
boy.
hundredth.
Which is really 98.2%, but that's beside the point. Because we're not going to go there.
We're not going there. And for our third fight,
We have Anakin and Obi-Wan versus Count Dooku on Geonosis.
yes, the first installment of said fight.
Yes, the first time these three would go head to head to head. Joel.
Oof. This one, I love this one.
Oh, I'm glad you do.
We're talking the one where...
Yeah,
Happens.
Anakin loses his arm.
Got it.
Spoilers.
Yeah. You picked a bad episode to listen to because, fights are where people die in this franchise.
Typically.
So, oof. I love this fight. I'm trying to remember. Is this... No, yeah, because number 2 is whenever they're in the throne room.
Yeah, that's when they're on the ship.
Invisible hand.
Yeah.
Is it a throne room?
No,
It's
it's
an
the
observation deck.
Yeah,
Okay,
officers'
well, it
quarters,
looked like a throne.
yeah. I mean, yeah,
A chair room.
the chair room.
Okay, so I'm going to have to give this a solid 7.
Yeah.
The reason why is I don't think it lives up to like the hype that the original, or like the one that we were just talking about, the
Duel of the
so
Fates,
iconic Duel of the Fates, right? It doesn't live up to the hype per se, but it is a really solid fight, I think.
Yeah.
There's nothing extravagant that occurs, but you learn a lot about Dooku in the first one, and it also plays a lot into how we see Anakin and his progression, like his mindset going into like being a Jedi. This is rather early on in the series, whenever he's finally older,
Yeah.
so
He's out there. He's actually doing laser sword fights.
right, and we actually get to see
losing
how
limbs.
his attitude towards fighting is
Yeah.
cocky and I can do it.
Yeah. Oh no, I'm taking him now. Yeah, that's a great character moment for Anakin.
Yeah.
Spencer.
Things that I like about this fight. I think the visual effects of Obi-Wan catching the lightning on his saber is really nifty. I think that like the choreography itself is pretty sharp. And since it's a very open room, you get a lot of the wide shots where you can see both fighters at the same time. You don't get as much of the choppy editing. That being said, one of my least favorite things about this fight is the part where they zoom in really close on
Oh
both
my
Dooku's
God.
and Anakin's faces, and you can like see the flashing colors of the sabers, and it's like really cool in theory, but you can totally tell it looks really corny because you can totally tell that they're both just like swinging their sabers in circles around their heads.
That's all it looks like.
Looking really intense. And if you all could see me right now, I look like a belly dancer as I'm reenacting what this looks like.
It's actually pretty hot.
Thanks, buddy. Like, you know,
Stay away.
It's that kind of stuff that. Also, one other minor editing gripe. Whenever Dooku takes a hack at Obi-Wan's arm, the way he like throws it back totally looks like it gets completely cut off.
He
And that
throws it
always
back.
confused me as a kid. That always
Yeah,
confused
me
me because
too.
it looks like he loses an arm, but he doesn't. So, besides those tiny little gripes, I think it's overall a pretty well choreographed and executed fight. So I'm gonna give it a 6.5 because I'm a fan of that fight, even though they don't really ever fight together at the same time. It is still cool, again, from a storytelling perspective, to see how each individual swordsman
Where they are
operates.
in their life is a
Yeah, 6.5.
Sweet. Levi, thoughts on this fight?
It's not my favorite, but it's a fight. No, it's not the worst.
It's a fight.
Not the worst there ever were. I'm looking at the list. There's some pretty bad fights on this list. This I think just falls in the middle. Unfortunately,
You going
like,
with cool? It's pretty cool.
it is pretty cool. Yeah, but that's I don't know.
A little low.
I'm gonna go with a 6.
Cooler than cool.
Yeah. Ice
Because
cold.
when there's nothing in this fight that makes me go, wow.
Yeah.
But there are certain spots where it makes me go, ugh. Not many,
Yeah.
but yeah.
This ranking system is so crazy.
So who's next? We go Lexi
Me.
Nesk.
Yes.
Yeah.
Nesk.
Chuck a
You know,
cup.
you're
Nesquik.
struggling today.
Chuck a cup.
So
Lexi,
as we're going, I have the videos pulled up so I can remember.
Oh, you're smart.
Thank you. I'm gonna give it a 6.
Oh.
It's not my favorite, and I kind of forgot that it happened, other than the fact that that's where Anakin loses his hand.
Subtle details.
Yeah,
you know.
so that's the only part of this fight that matters.
Right.
Is that this is Anakin becoming a cyborg. Like that's all.
Yeah.
Foreshadowing.
I really
later.
like watching Dooku fight. You know,
Yeah.
you don't see a whole lot of it, but it's interesting.
Yeah, Dooku's fun to watch.
Yeah.
I think that's the strongest thing this fight has going for it is the fact that it has, famous stage swordsman Christopher Lee in it, and that kind of saves the fight for the most part.
Towards the end, though, whenever he force pushes Anakin away, and he just flies through the air so awkwardly, and it hits the ground. I just keep rewatching it because it's hilarious.
Do you have the same reaction whenever he does it to Obi-Wan too in Revenge of the Sith?
Yeah. Isn't
Yeah, you're
isn't
right.
he also Bram Stoker's Dracula?
I think he is.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, well
He
that makes
is.
sense.
Yeah.
I don't think
little-
That's why they
Christopher
made-
Lee.
That's why they
little
made
cameo.
Dooku a count.
I
As an
don't.
homage to that.
I don't think that Dooku has a very pretty lightning hand. I think there is a technique, a favorable look to a lightning hand. It looks like he's just making the flattest
So
possible
you don't
extension.
you don't like a flat Dooku
I
hand?
don't like I like the
What about sheath fingers? Do you like sheath
I
fingers?
liked the flat hand vertically. Like whenever
Oh.
whenever Anakin comes at him, he's like I like that. But whenever he is going toe to toe with Yoda and he just
goes,
it's like he's just flat handing. It's like he's showing him his nails, or he's recently gotten engaged and he's like, check it out.
Pedicure or manicure,
Yes, just very, very flat pancake hand. It's like a spatula.
I have better French tips than any Jedi, even you.
But I like the casualness of whenever Anakin runs at him and he does like the flat hand sideways.
Yeah.
It's just like, goodbye.
He's like, bitch, please. Next.
Yes. Sorry. It's not my turn. I'm sorry.
No, you're good. Lexi, you gave it a 6?
Yeah.
Okay.
Connor.
It's dope.
Well spoken.
Playing
Mainly
along.
because not in addition to what Joel said about just all like the sort of narrative infusion of it with Anakin trying to become a Jedi. It also contains my favorite line ever in Attack of the Clones, which is, Master Kenobi, you disappoint me. Yoda holds you in such high esteem. And I don't know, it's just a really cool duel to see, so I'll give it like an 8.
So 8 is dope.
Yeah, that's what we got from this.
Okay. We're learning here. This is all to mine and Connor for information.
It's your turn.
Yes. This and the fight immediately after it with Dooku and Yoda are probably my least favorite in the prequels. There are some really cool moments, you know. Like Alexis said, I am 1,000% with you on that. I think anytime you get to see Dooku on screen is a treat. He's like the most underrated character in all of Star Wars, and you will never change my mind about that. He's so much fun to watch. I think one of the things that I love so much about Dooku is how effortless everything is for him.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like
Agreed.
and it's because of who Christopher Lee is. He's, you know, like the greatest stage... Yeah, it's very sophisticated, greatest stage fencer of all time.
Could you also tie that into the lore of Star Wars?
Totally.
Like his particular style?
Oh, absolutely.
His
Yeah, that's
style
where
and-
it comes from.
He waits.
Arguably.
Yeah. Well, yeah, the argument can be made, and, you know, sneak peek at the next Versus series. Dooku's probably, dimes for donuts, the best swordsman of that era.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think he's the only one who could consistently take out Windu, Yoda, Kenobi, and Anakin.
Yeah, he's
At
the,
any, yeah.
he's like there are there are people who can beat him. He's like the Inigo Montoya of Star Wars. Like he studied swordsmanship and nothing else for years and years and years. And there are people who can beat him. It's a question of you need to not fight his game. You need to find your own game and fight that. You know?
Yeah, and seeing Dooku do that, and, you know, I think the other instance that I really like in this fight is, as brief as it is, seeing Anakin dual wielding is a lot of fun.
Yeah.
You know, back when I was little, my dad and I, you know, we found all the prequel memes funny before they were memes. And, like, one of the ones that I still wish became a meme was, like, anytime my dad would toss something to me, he'd just say, Anakin, catch! And he'd, like, toss it to me, and I just love that bit, you know, like there's just something incredibly nostalgic about that sequence where Anakin does that like crazy windmill maneuver on Dooku, and like that whole bit, and because of the angle it's shot at, is so
looks really
slick.
sharp.
And then from the moment Dooku cuts the green saber in half, and then Anakin cuts the power in the room, the duel falls the fuck apart, and it just looks terrible. It's edited horribly, like you said, the belly dancing sequence is just
it's pretty rough.
it's unintelligible. And the way that Anakin losing his arm was kind of weirdly choreographed. This one YouTuber, Mike Starwalker, he did this amazing video where they did a reimagined version of the Anakin Obi-Wan Dooku fight. Way better choreographed. And the way that they do Anakin losing his arm is that, again, it's just sheer bladesmanship. That Dooku outfences him, sneaks in his guard, and takes it off. And I think that's more apropos.
Agreed. Yeah.
I give it a cool and a half.
A cool 0.5. That
Cool
is a
and a half.
That is a
Yeah.
5.5 for. But wait a second. If cool equals 5,
Right, then cool and a half is
that
7.5.
5? Yeah, and plus half of a 5. So is that a 7.5 or is it a 5.5?
It's a cool point cool.
It is a cool point cool, ladies and gentlemen.
All right, we're at
you.
39 out of 60, and that is an average of 6.5.
6.5.
Just so because we finish Jared and I'm like, but what about Connor and Lexi?
We do.
I don't know. I know, but like I don't know why. So does Jared always go last for my
Yes.
sake?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I make a point of going last. You guys deserve to speak before me. I like to.
Thank you.
Glad
Yeah.
we're memorable.
Because if you go first, then we don't have anything left to say. You've said it all.
Yeah.
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 It's kind of strategic. And Joel always goes first with Yoda versus Count Dooku.
Because Joel typically has the least to say.
I do typically have.
That's not necessarily
It's
true.
mainly because
So far,
I don't have much knowledge in the world of.
Oh, you
I
don't give
usually
yourself enough
have the
credit.
least to say
You
on all this.
both get down on yourselves for no good reason when you are both tanks.
I don't even know why I'm here.
Right, me too.
Me every day.
Because we
Hashtag
like
me
you
too.
and you like Star Wars.
The reason
and
I'm here
why
is so
else
I can
have-
do the production stuff.
I don't know. We're friends
I'm
and we
just
all
here
like
so I
Star
don't get
Wars. That's
fined.
the
That's
best
what
reason
matters.
I can think of to have a podcast about Star Wars. Okay,
Yoda
Yoda
v.
versus
Dooku.
Dooku.
This is when?
This is right after.
Right after.
Right after.
Yeah.
Yep,
Right.
still
right.
in the
right.
hangar.
Yes.
That's what I thought.
Yoda does the little Clint Eastwood thing.
Pull the poncho aside.
Yeah.
He has the Lego
3.8.
death scream.
Wait, what'd you say, Joel?
3.8.
3.8.
3.8.
3.8.
Not a fan of this fight.
It's insignificant.
I mean, we get to see Yoda with a lightsaber for the first time in the history of Star Wars.
Which is a cardinal sin to
Which
a lot
is-
of people.
Yes. But like, he's a Jedi. You can't expect him to just never have used a lightsaber. Just, he's old, but he
Yeah.
can still kick it.
I'll move it up to
Kind of plays into his arc of
Yeah,
Who he is.
I agree with Connor. It's important, but not to his arc within the confines of the Star Wars, the Skywalker
I feel like it's
saga.
filler.
as this one other Jedi said, all I do know is that having a lightsaber isn't what makes you a Jedi.
That's a good way to put it. That's a good way.
Cal Kestis, baby.
Am I missing something in my memory whenever I think it's just filler?
No, not
No.
really.
You're not wrong.
I mean, I don't like it, but
It's-
it's for the reason.
Let's have a reason to get let Obi-Wan and Anakin get rescued, and then
Well, I mean, well,
Aside from the
well,
fact that Dooku's about to kill them, I mean, that's,
That
Yoda
is-
just kind of shows up as like reinforcements way too late.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So here's what I think. I think much like the saber pike sort of thing, this fight is most important to me because it introduces something new. Yoda demonstrates his ability with Tutu Minis catching the Force lightning and both making it dissipate in his hand and also redirecting it back at Dooku. Seeing, it's kind of like Connor was just saying, like having a lightsaber doesn't make you a Jedi, and I like that this fight starts by like a huge dick measuring contest with the Force.
Yeah.
Because like no lightsaber fight ever starts like that. It's never just like, all right, let's see if we can do this without ever pulling out our sabers.
Yeah.
Because Yoda has never pulled out his saber until that point, and so it's like, does he even have one? Okay, let's just use the Force. And like, I think the sound effects are really weird, like that weird scraping as like the wall attachments are getting thrown around and stuff. It's just like, I don't think that they were very realistic with a lot of the Force sound effects. I don't think that they were very realistic with those. But Tutu Minis is really cool to see. Dooku,
Agreed.
again, is always a treat to see in any saber fight that he does. Yoda's fighting style really makes no sense at all. Like, I get that he favors Ataru, but this is Ataru on crack cocaine.
like super high,
Like, he barely
energetic.
It's
touches.
Yoda on ketamine.
He doesn't touch the
ketamine
ground for longer than it takes him to spring back off the ground again. And I have to give Dooku props, because if someone's moving that unrealistically, irrationally, and quickly, like, I'm just happy that he made it out alive. This is not like I'm going to outskill you, Dooku. This is like you're not going to know what the hell's going on, Dooku, and that's what's going to be the death of you.
It's a
pinball
Beyblade,
machine.
Dooku.
It's a Beyblade. Dooku.
Oh, you beat me
we
on
need
that
to
one.
we need to
Beyblade
edit
more than pinball.
Sorry.
edit the show notes.
Yeah.
This fight is now called Dooku versus Beyblade. Again, I, as a kid, thought this fight was really cool just because it's Yoda with a lightsaber, and also he's a freaking acrobatic
Dervish.
That's one way to put it.
Your usage of the word dervish has increased by like 400% in recent months, and I love it. The absolute best way to describe Yoda is either a Tasmanian devil or a dervish. And
Can somebody edit this scene to have Yoda just
I was just about to
Okay.
say that.
so much like the fight with Maul, this is gonna get a 2.5 for me, bumped up to a 3.5 because of 2 minutes. Yes. So a 3.5 for Spencer, with a very long-winded response.
We both have a soft spot for that specific Force ability.
It's just cool. I think my favorite was in the Old Republic cinematics
She catches the saber in her
Satele
hand.
Shan just catches a blade with her open hand.
That's literally the first thing I thought of.
Yeah.
It's awesome. I also like, just quick sidebar,
Incredible.
I like the effect in that video where as she's catching it, it looks like whenever you are forging a blade,
Yeah.
and like the flakes of iron, whenever you pound it, they like flake off. It kind of looks like that's what's happening to the blade, even though it really doesn't make sense. I think it's a cool effect.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I agree.
The scale.
next. I'm
It's
done.
the scale.
This is me. I'm done.
Levi, thoughts on Yoda versus Count Dooku?
I'm giving it a 5. It's just cool. Terribly average.
It's cool.
So, I like how they're getting back into the swing of things with using the Force instead of just
Yeah.
the sabers. You know, I think it's really the first time we saw heavy-duty Force use since the original trilogy.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan of Yoda swinging around. I think it makes sense because what else is he gonna do? He's so short.
Yeah.
He has to make up for it. But at that point, I'm like, what am I watching? You know?
Yeah. There comes a point where it is a little bit more bombastic than is necessary.
So at that point, it would just be a 4, but I'm giving it a 5 because if it's just me, I'm gonna revert it back. But I think like Dooku switches up his style once he starts fighting Yoda.
I mean, mostly just because he has to keep up with his speed.
Right.
He's kind of doing the same thing, but
Right.
like way faster and a little sloppier now. Yeah.
But he's able to do that because he has experience with Yoda.
Yeah.
Because Yoda was his master. And I like that
Yeah.
little touch.
Yeah.
So that'll be a 5 for me.
All right.
Forgot about that. Huh.
All right. I support it. Lexi, thoughts
Desk
on?
buddy.
Yeah, well, as a kid, I really liked it only because Yoda was in it, and I really liked Yoda as a child. So I was like, oh my god, look at that little green guy go! Like, holy crap!
Whoop your ass! I'm going to.
The gremlin's jumping. But like, I don't know, man. Was it needed? Was all of that needed? I think it was filler. I mean, I love Dooku too, but
Says the girl with the mantis.
Yeah.
yeah, you're right.
The resident
You're
Kurt
right.
tilt owner.
You're correct, and I still don't know how to hold it. 4. A 4.
4. All right.
Or
Connor, thoughts
Connor.
on this fight?
It's cool, kind of inconsequential. I really like the use of the Force before the sabers come out. I'll give it a 5.
All right, a 5.
Jared.
Also, I can't take
Overdose
For
on
those
ketamine I have.
I can't take credit for the quote. All I do know is that having a lightsaber isn't what makes you a Jedi. That's said by Cal in Fallen Order, and it was written by one of the 6 writers on the story.
I've been MIA for a couple weeks. Connor, are you on your 6th playthrough by now.
10th.
Ah!
Yeah, I just started it like
this is
yesterday.
the definition of obsession, ladies and gentlemen.
I haven't even finished my first yet.
You will.
I was playing it yesterday.
Good. I'm proud of you.
I got to see who Trilla is. So,
Trilla the Hun?
yes.
Go home. I'm upset that you're back now.
The Huns have invaded China.
Oh my god, no, stop.
So, this fight, I will say all of the same things about like the use of the Force and Tutuminus and everything at the top of the fight is great. However, the only thing that truly saves this fight for me, and I made a joke about it earlier, is Yoda's little Clint Eastwood thing. Like, that is my favorite part of this entire fight. That might be my favorite part of Attack of the Clones. And it doesn't even fit Yoda's character to just be like, oh, I got the motherfucking
Yeah.
thing on me. Like, that is not him at all, to just flash his saber at somebody.
I got the thing
But,
on
yeah, he
Maybe.
doesn't have that. He just doesn't have that big dick energy.
He doesn't.
And then it just comes out.
And it's like,
there.
I just think that is the best part of the whole movie is Yoda just, you do want this smoke. This smoke you want, do you? Okay.
I'm gonna just
Okay.
flex on these guys.
Yeah, just that that brief moment is what saves it for me. But other than that, it is so horribly
I think-
choreographed, and it is so. You can tell it's just Christopher Lee flailing around on a soundstage, and then they edited Yoda in around him.
Yes.
It's cool because Yoda has big dick energy for no reason.
I just thought of this. I think from Yoda being up until this point a completely force-wielding Jedi, I think it does make a decent, even though it's kind of out of character for him to be like, all right, you want this? All right, here we go. I think it does make a good transition from like force-wielding to saber-wielding.
Yeah.
Whereas
The
like,
transition's good. It's just
like-
the execution is where
even
it
though
misses for
it's
me.
not gonna like he's an old Northritic, but like he can definitely reach down to his belt and grab his saber.
Yeah.
But like the fact that rather than doing that, he just like uses one hand to very effortlessly show his piece.
Yeah.
And then
That's exactly what it is.
It's like.
And that's the thing, is that like it's a little overly badass
Like-
for Yoda.
you
Like,
like
if Anakin
the
had done
eyes-
that at one point in the movie, that would have
that
made
would be-
sense
yes,
for him,
yes.
and it
With
would
his
have been
character.
amazing.
But instead, we have like this, like the eyes narrow,
Yeah.
and you see like the home rolled cigarette, like that the tiny little long cigar that is burned down to a stub, and he's just like he's got it in the corner of his mouth, and he pulls his poncho to the side and reveals his peacemaker. It's like
Maybe it's because of the history they have.
It's that and the fact that like George Lucas said, he's like, oh yeah, I wanted to make it look like a Western, and it's
this
just
is
that
not
George
the time.
Lucas-y.
This
Yeah.
does not look like a Western, George. I get that we're like in a sandy part of the galaxy, but like
It's
this
a
is-
goblin with a laser
is it-
sword. What's our average for this fight?
4.42.
Sounds good.
4.42. Very specific.
4.42.
All right.
26.5 out of 60.
What's
All
our
right.
next fight?
Anakin and Obi-Wan versus Dooku aboard
Round
the Invisible
2.
Hand.
Nice.
This
Joel.
is where Dooku dies.
Yes.
Spoilers. Duh.
Okay, this might be a hot take or something or other, but like, to be honest, like, this is just my criticism of the storyline. This isn't my criticism of the fight. I hate that he kills Dooku, because I just feel like Anakin definitely knew he shouldn't do it, and I understand the progression, but like at the same time, I really don't think he would have done it.
He knew he shouldn't have, but there was a part of him that was like, I want you dead. You fucked with me
Do
too
it.
much. Yeah. And that, like, and you can see during the Clone War, like, he fights to kill Dooku. And but this was the one moment where he had a chance to beat him that didn't involve killing
yeah,
him.
it was.
But it's like the turning point for him. It was the first time that he really got a taste of the dark side.
Yeah.
I think this would have
Well,
been.
Well, aside from slaughtering of the Tusken
Yeah.
Raiders, but
Yeah. I think this fight would have been very different if instead of making a show of it and catching his saber, he was like hands, head. That would have made a lot more sense.
Right. I
Like,
agree.
For who Anakin is as a fighter, as well as the fact that him sitting there like, I shouldn't do it. Like, but I want to do it. Like, that's not Anakin. He's impulsive.
It was exaggerated
It is-
because they wanted to show the conflict.
I gotcha.
But
Yeah.
For who Anakin is, it's much more likely for him to be like, okay, hands, head, done, than for him to be like, hands, let's milk this a little bit. I want to see you on your knees.
But if he was in
That's-
that
that's just
position,
like-
he wouldn't have done it. But I feel like I agree with you exactly. I think the position he was in, where he had, him was
It's
gonna
like he's
behead
at his
him.
mercy.
He's setting himself up for moral failure is what he's doing.
Right.
If he just killed him and got it over with, then it would have been justified. Like, it was the ending of a fight. He was still dangerous.
I think if you gave him a little bit, like not long enough to have a whole monologue, but long enough to see that like Dooku has been incapacitated, and just to give Anakin that just a brief moment of, I can take you prisoner, fuck you, through the gut, like just long enough for like it to be made very clear, you can no longer fight back. You are completely at my mercy, and you are a valuable prisoner. But you wounded me and you deserve to die. That's the moment.
And
that
every
yeah,
second that you remain alive, you're a threat.
Yeah.
So for these reasons, I was gonna give it an 8, but I decided to go down to a 7.5,
Okay.
Very interesting. Very good.
which is still more than I gave the first one a 7.
Yeah. It's on a choreography level, it is a marked improvement.
Right, and I want to give it more, but just because of the ending, I was just like,
Yeah.
come on.
Okay, so it's me. Hi, I'm Spencer here. So for this fight, I think overall, I think it's really good. The choreography is sharp. I think this is the most believable 2-on-1 saber choreography in the saga, unless I'm really missing something. Because, like, even though Duel of the Fates is really cool, you can tell that Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon are moving at like half speed so that Maul can keep up with them. Like, it's a very pretty fight, but it's not a very realistic one.
Yeah.
Whenever it's 2-on-1, but again, Maul separates them, and then it becomes more believable as like it's 1-on-1, so both of them are moving at top speed. But with the Dooku versus Anakin and Obi-Wan fight, you don't see a lot of moments where someone's like standing around waiting for like, okay, go, like waiting for him to like have your attention. You're like, you ready? You
I'm gonna
ready?
try to kill you
ready?
now.
Okay, here we go. You don't get a whole lot of that in this fight. It's very sharply choreographed, and it makes use of both the practical assets in Dooku's fighting style and also the lore aspect of it. Like, he's a fencer, so he's going to use quick, precise movements, and like it's sharply choreographed both for his practical and his in-universe fighting style.
I think one of the sharpest bits of choreography in this whole fight is when Obi-Wan goes into that overhead and Dooku catches it and then brings up both sabers to catch Anakin's. Like, that is really slick.
That's the kind of stuff we're talking about. And also, again, this is done from like an omniscient perspective where you see all three combatants in one frame for most of the fight, and whenever it's up close, it's still like far enough back that it's not really choppy editing.
Yeah.
I really am not. I don't believe that Obi-Wan could have walked away from getting crushed with that platform. I don't think that that's a very realistic part of the battle. But
I think just having him get shit whipped into it was enough.
that was enough. Like, just leave it there. Just leave it there. But it's not believable for Palpatine to be like, leave him, or we'll never make it, because he just got ragdolled. He's okay. But swordsmanship, very good. Again, based on what Joel was talking about, I think it would have made more sense for Anakin to like kill Dooku more quickly without bringing the moral debate into it. Like, by the time he cuts off the hands, this is still like a live fight. He could have easily run him through, or just like hands, head, done. And like it. Where's the debate there? You don't need a moral debate about should I kill him or not, because it was an active. Mace Windu cut off Jango's head after his blaster was gone. There's no moral debate about that. Anyway,
aside from the fact that the armor he's wearing
he is a weapon. Yes.
Yeah.
But so long story short, I really enjoy this battle, even though we don't see as much of the Obi-Wan and Anakin and Dooku as I would like. This is the sort of thing where a novelization would be really good because they can draw it out on the pages.
It's much better in the novelization, as is the case with most of these fights.
Anyway, that being said, I'm going to give this fight an 8 out of 10.
All right. Levi, your thoughts on this duel?
Giving it a 7. It's good. Choreography, as Spencer said, flowed really well, especially compared to Episode 2's hot trash.
Yeah.
And it's not higher because I think it's also one of the safer battles if you can understand where I'm coming from. Like, it doesn't have anything new. I don't know. It does its bit with storytelling just fine.
Yeah.
Right? But
no,
it's just a battle.
Yeah.
2-on-1 battle, really cool battle, which is why it's a 7 and not a 5.
Belly dancing.
Yeah.
Belly dancing. Fair enough. Alexis.
That's all I have to say.
So where is it from that you told me before about the whole Dooku like pleading beforehand that we don't see?
So that was in the first draft of the screenplay, which was used for the novelization, and he does beg for his life in the novelization.
I like knowing that, and I might be fucked up for it, but I like knowing that, which makes that part better for me. The choreography, like you said, flowed. I really like this fight a lot. I like when Obi-Wan gets shit whipped and falls on the floor.
It's the sound of him hitting his head off the railing that is like really...
Like, it looks funny to me. And I feel bad for saying that, but it's just true. So, I guess I think I'll give it an 8.
All right. Solid 8 for this fight. Con man.
It's pretty dope. Choreography's cool. I do agree with. I literally forget who mentioned it with the whole hands head thing. I do agree with that. I don't mind the moral conflict. I really like it, but I also agree with that, so I can see both sides. 8.5.
8.5.
All right. Well, we know that pretty means add 0.5 to your score. So pretty dope. He's consistent. He's pretty consistent.
I've pretty much forgotten how it goes for me, but
the fact that you have makes it even funnier that it's holding true. As a kid, this was actually my favorite fight in the movie. I liked Anakin versus Dooku rematch more than I liked the Battle of the Heroes for a very long time. I again love this fight a lot. I think that the version in the comic book adaptation of Revenge of the Sith, and funny enough,
there's a comic,
and
you know what?
the version of this in Lego Star Wars, where Anakin only takes one of Dooku's hands. And Dooku...
I always do the jump attack.
Oh, yeah. Well, Anakin... In the comic, Anakin only takes Dooku's right hand, and Dooku, like, collapses to the ground, like, holding the stump. And, like, you see that Dooku is, like, in visceral pain and is freaking out, and then do an Anakin, kill him now, do it. And I like that version a lot. Alexis, I think kind of in the same way you like the version where he pleads for his life, because like you put Anakin in this position where he like there is no moral question. It is very clearly this man is no longer a threat to you. He's your prisoner. And it is objectively wrong for you to take his life, especially because you are taking it from a place of revenge, not for the greater good. So I think that Dooku's death has a little bit more of a sting to it, either when he pleads for his life or if he is incapacitated in a, slightly more civil way. I know in the video game, Anakin just stabs him in the chest, which again, like he kills him in the heat of battle. Like that's still a fair, it's not like he killed him in cold blood. But I like the choreography a lot. Obi-Wan getting shit whipped is great. Palpatine going "get" is still the best part of the movie.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. Yes. I love that.
My favorite moment, and this is actually really recent when I rewatched this on Disney Plus not too long ago, and I kept watching it and slowing it down and rewatching it, is right before Obi-Wan gets shit whipped. That choreography I used to think was like incoherent. It's actually really fast and clever, where like Dooku lifts Obi-Wan with the Force, parries Anakin, and then kicks him in the face while still holding Obi-Wan, and then throws him.
I love that part.
It's really slick when you look at each movement. I'm gonna give it a 7. A solid 7 for me.
How many of these more do we have left?
Many.
Too many.
We are at 1 hour, y'all.
Okay, so for 1 hour, how about this?
The good news is the original trilogy is going to go pretty quick.
Well, actually, okay, so these are one of those moments.
Sequel trilogy.
We also have the entire sequel trilogy. Do we want to make this a 3-part miniseries and just do each trilogy at a time?
Ooh, that's the best. That's the best thing
I like
we've ever
that.
I like
done.
that.
Okay,
I like
cool.
that a lot.
You are listening
do
to
it.
live decisions being made, friends. This is a true privilege. Just goes to show that we don't have a clue what we're doing around here.
No, we
we're
know
the-
exactly what we're doing around here.
We're very quick on our feet.
We
though.
are. We are good at coming up with ideas.
Spicy times.
All right, so then you heard it here. Tune in to maybe next week.
Definitely not next week, assuming things go according to plan with that one thing.
Oh, yes, the one thing.
And the other thing, I still have to figure that out.
And yeah, so we'll return to this eventually and do the OT and the sequel trilogy, but we still have 3 more duels.
I'm so sorry, folks, that we're such a mess, but you
Ah,
love us
happy
anyway.
mess.
You love us
We're,
anyway.
we're a beautiful mess.
so what's our
Yes, we
average
are.
for the
For this one,
7.67.
yep, 7.67. And we'll rank them real quick before we finish. But
well, we still have to get through Obi-Wan Grievous,
okay.
Mace Insidious, Yoda Insidious, and the Battle of Heroes.
All right.
That's
All right.
4.
Ooh.
All right, this one we can breeze through. I hope to God we're able to breeze through this one.
Hello there, Joel. Obi-Wan
Hello.
Kenobi versus General Grievous.
Hello there.
General Kenobi.
So uncivilized. I think it's actually one of my favorite duels ever. I mean, there's a lot of running. There is a lot of running that occurs. But
we get some good boga action.
But it's so entertaining, isn't it? So entertaining to watch. Like it has. It's not just battling. And, I mean, if I could do an imitation of the sounds of the
Boga?
things.
Boga, the giant lizard.
Yeah, if I could do an imitation. If
That
I
was me,
could,
guys.
I would. And I think it's honestly a great sound. But anyways, as for the fight and everything, as for that entire sequence, I'm gonna rate it on a whole sequence from start to finish, everything that occurs. Oof, that's a solid 8.5 for me.
Yeah?
Yeah, it's just I also am really in love with Ewan McGregor as Obi-Wan Kenobi. So
I mean, we all are.
so absolutely.
Yeah.
Lexi, can we get that again?
Hold on.
It's it's echoey. It's like that sound effects mixed with like a. It's like.
Can you get up on the mic for that and do that sound? Everybody be quiet. That's really good.
Little fun fact.
Wow, really
I don't know
distracted.
where the sound effect for Boga originated. But the same sound effect used for her gets used by the Pokemon Palkia in Pokemon Diamond and Pearl.
Fun fact.
Same little lizard cry.
Interesting.
For those of you who double dip in those
I will
fandoms.
most
You're
definitely
right.
try to do it off air.
Oh.
But
You're right. I want to know where Dialga's comes from, because that doesn't fit Dialga at all.
Yo.
Anyway.
We should bring
Back
the
on
Wii and
topic.
play Pokemon tonight.
Hmm?
We'll talk after the show. I'm sorry. I
Come on,
got
let's
super
go.
lizard brain. I'm so
Come on.
sorry.
Sorry,
Dooku, you're up.
do that.
Dooku. You looked at the paper and read the name.
You called me Dooku.
I mean, you are a
Dooku.
you are.
I am a Makashi specialist.
Did you hear Lexi?
What'd she say?
She did the fucking.
Boo boo.
Dooku.
Dooku.
I forgot about that.
Little Princess got his head cut. Boo
Dooku.
Copyright infringement.
We love you, Kat.
So, yeah, Obi-Wan versus Grievous. I'm gonna start this fight when he sicks the Magna Guards on him, because I think that's just funny. It's like Obi-Wan strikes his pose that doesn't make any sense, but is iconic, and then he just like, all right, enough of this. Crushes the Magna Guards, cuts one of them's heads off. Like,
Well,
are we stopping? I wasn't paying attention. Are we stopping after they like mount up and take
We'll
it
consider
mobile?
it if we're gonna consider Obi-Wan and Maul's one-on-one, and then we'll consider up to so uncivilized.
Okay.
I consider the whole sequence.
All right. In that case, here's what I think. I think it was really cool to see Grievous coming at him with all four sabers
For 30 seconds.
for 30 freaking seconds.
Right. It's hard to rate it if you're just rating the lightsaber part.
I think that it's very like visually cool. I don't think the swordsmanship makes much sense because again, he's got four of them, and Obi-Wan is just trying to survive the spinningness of the blades.
Which, like, is super intimidating.
It is super intimidating. He does a really remarkable job. You know, I would freeze. I'd be, yeah, you can have me. I don't want the stress of having to worry about keeping track of all four of them. Just kill me already. But I think the fight
You know, I
itself
feel
is
that.
way too short. Very unsatisfying appearance for Grievous. If you really like, it's only Clone Wars content that makes Grievous an intimidating character for me.
Even then, it's kind of hit or miss.
Even then, it's not always the best. But let me see. What else was I gonna say? Once you take it to the platform, it's kind of just like, all right, just get it. We know what happens. Get it over with. I think Obi-Wan is an idiot for thinking he can kick Grievous in the shin. I think that
I belly laugh every time.
every
Every time he kicks him, he goes, "Oh!"
I realize-
it's still the funniest shit in that movie.
but also I realize that neither one of them have lightsabers left at this point. But I cannot help but wonder, like, after Obi-Wan like rips open the chest compartment, what was his plan? Like, what was he thinking he was?
He was gonna
he
rip
just
out
gonna like?
Grievous'
Was he
still
gonna
fucking beating heart.
Was he gonna pull a Temple of Doom on him and just like plunge his hand into his gut and like just hope that something important comes out? Like I get
This
that.
looks important.
I just like also, how is Grievous's armor made that horribly that with human strength and not that much of it by the looks of it, he can just be like, I'm gonna pry this open.
Didn't you see Screw Attack's death battle?
With Obi-Wan. Oh my god, it's so bad.
Obi-Wan is a lesser god.
Yes.
Don't you know?
I think Obi-Wan got a little bit lucky with this fight, given the fact that there's hardly any lightsaber action going on at all, and that its only wow factor is the 30 seconds of spinny that you get. I'm gonna give this fight a 4.5 because it's generally underwhelming, but it's kind of cool to see Grievous
His score will
live
balance
action.
mine out.
Yeah, very much.
4.5, just because Grievous is cool for all 30 seconds of it.
Yeah, I feel bad giving it an 8 because, like, I'm
Don't.
scoring the sequence even though I'm not scoring the lightsaber part.
Is it my turn?
Don't feel
It
bad.
is your turn.
Giving it
Joel,
a 3.
Don't feel bad.
Giving it a
Stand
3.
by your
Giving it a
convictions.
3. Never
Thanks,
liked
Connor.
Grievous in the movies. I think he's gimmicky. Nah.
That's fair. That's fair. I understand that. I disagree, but I understand.
Yeah, and that's my turn.
All right, Alexis. Hello there.
General Kenobi. I have a weird, tiny fascination with Grievous. I don't know why. This is a very quotable scene. It's kind of cool. So I'm gonna give it a 6.
All right, giving it a 6. I gotta find those old Grievous
Connor.
comics somewhere. She would love those.
All you, man.
Good stuff.
That's fine. Could have been done a lot better. I'll give it a 2.
Ooh.
Wow,
That's harsh treatment.
that one was in the gutter. Holy shit. All right, Obi-Wan versus Grievous. This is another one that is way better in the novel. It reaches like anime territory with the way the action is framed in the novel. Obi-Wan catches and breaks off one of Grievous's arms in the novel.
Wow.
Which I think is part of why it's implied that he can rip the chassis open. Is
I
that
guess
like
so, but
Grievous
like,
has already taken a beating up to this point, and the shit's just
That would have
falling
been
apart.
dope to see in the movie.
I think it was. I think it made no sense in the book, and would have been even more jarring to actually see Ewan McGregor rip Grievous's arm out of its socket. I wish the saber actual blade to blade combat went on a little bit longer. However, again, the scene is incredibly quotable. The choreography that we do get is fun to watch. And again, the novelization. These are one of those fights that the novelization is what I imagine when I see the fight. So Obi-Wan blocking 200 strikes per second has a special spot in my heart. So I'm gonna give it a 6. It's fun. It's just
All
dumb
right,
fun.
and the
it's fun.
average
It's just too short.
is 4.92, which falls above
Dooku versus,
Dooku versus
Yoda.
Yoda.
And Qui-Gon versus Maul.
Ooh.
Damn.
Next.
All right.
It's treason then, Joel.
Sorry, I was doing math and I don't have the list up, so just give me a second.
Mace Windu.
Got it.
and-
1.
Ooh.
I hate it.
Kind
Now
of
we get
on
to
that
it.
one.
Now we get to.
I hate it so much because 1, it's like a horrible representation of how Jedi Masters would act in a real fight.
True.
2, I hate the way it ends. 3, I hate the way it ends. And 4, I hate everything in between.
Wow. It's harsh. I agree with most of it, but it's so
I am like
the truth.
slowly realizing. I thought I had the spiciest take on this scene. I'm slowly realizing I like this scene more than everybody else in the room.
Darth Spencer, the white. Of many colors. I am
many
a white.
You are white.
We all are.
So here's my gripe with this scene. I understand that Palpatine is supposed to be incredibly powerful, and he's supposed to be. In the end, it was always like any way you slice this fight, Palpatine kills the first 3 with relative ease, and then the fight with Mace goes on for a while. However, Ian McDiarmid is an abysmal stage fighter. Abysmal. Pitiful.
Oh,
It's painful to watch. It is painful for me to witness. I have to close one of my eyes every time that this fight happens because I think if I saw it with both of them, I would shut down completely.
What, you don't like that?
I don't like how he just kind of like it looks like to me it looks like the scene in Return of the Jedi when Vader gets knocked on his ass and Luke is just pounding at his saber because
No.
that's what you're supposed to do in a saber fight.
Just his
And
memory.
he's like and Vader's just like holding his dangling arm and allowing Luke to swing at it. That's what Palpatine looks like. Okay. Ian McDiarmid is the weak link in this fight. I think if they had a more talented, more capable stage fencer for this scene, this could have been a much more enjoyable fight. I think that they, in an attempt to make Palpatine seem very powerful, made 3 highly capable and proven Jedi Masters look like freaking rag dolls. Like that app that that was used to be really popular, Kick the Buddy, where it's just like this burlap sack man that you just kill because it's entertaining, and he just sits there and lets it happen.
That's what Stacey Agan.
That's what.
are.
Yes, Agan, Stacey Teen, and Kit Fisto look like Kick the Buddy rag dolls in this scene in an attempt to make the incompetent fencer Ian McDiarmid look really powerful. This is a mistake. I don't know why they did this. It's very possible that the one that they trained to do this just like got sick one day and couldn't complete the job.
You know what's really hilarious about everything you're saying?
Is it true?
Most of it is a stuntman too.
No.
So they couldn't. It's Sam Jackson who's the problem too. The fight's just a mess.
It's
It's pitiful. There's no other word for it except pitiful, and it's not the actors and actresses' faults.
It is.
It's
It is.
definitely. I mean, it maybe 50% is.
It's
but
more than 50%
but you also have to write the scene better.
Yeah.
The scene is written fine. The problem is that the choreography
That's what I mean.
has been dumbed down to the level of Samuel L. Jackson and Ian McDiarmid's stage fencing ability. It's shot
like
horribly, and also, I don't remember what the also is. But
we're
my bottom
tearing it
line with
apart.
this fight, is it is so unbelievably awful. Just to watch, like even after the first 3 go down, just watching Palpatine and Mace go at it is just like they're not even trying. This isn't a fight for the fate of the Republic. This is just like a couple of 5-year-olds playing with garden tools.
It's me.
And the creation of Darth Vader is all because of a horribly shot.
But again, circling back, my biggest gripe with this fight.
It's the prequels in a nutshell.
My biggest gripe with this fight is that they attempt to make Palpatine look really, 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 really powerful by making 3 experienced, tried, and proven Jedi Masters look like they have brain damage and just don't know what to do with themselves. They look like
Brain damage.
Yeah, I'm sorry. That is unacceptable. If you want to make Palpatine look impressive, put in a couple moves. Like he kills,
He waves it. He just goes.
he kills 2 of them without ever touching blades with them, and the third one is like one parry dead. Give me a 5-second. You could make that scene so much better with only 15 more seconds of actual run time for this movie. 5 seconds apiece. Strike, 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 kill, strike, 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 kill, strike, 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 kill, Mace. You and me now. That's all I need. I need this scene to be drawn out by like 10 to 15 seconds, just long enough so that these Jedi Masters don't look like.
The corkscrew didn't do it for you.
I mean, I could see the corkscrew go in favor of. Anyway, I really hate this scene.
Yeah.
It's the hardest one for me to watch in all of the prequels because it's just so bad. I have to give this a 1.5 because, I mean, the 0.5 is in honor of the corkscrew maneuver because it's a meme at least.
Oh, you stole my line.
It's a meme at least. And you know what? What the hell? I'll give an additional 0.5 for Ian McDiarmid's horrible war face. Like, you say, show me your war face, and he's just like,
Oh wait, are you talking about? Are you also talking about the one where he's about to like stab forward?
Oh
he's like,
yeah, he does that like,
Yeah.
and he's like,
I hate that. That's one of the
I
worst parts.
unironically love that face.
I realized that we should be like taking away points for really awful things, but I'm going to go from a 1.5 to a 2 in honor of Ian McDermott's awful war faces.
I look forward to listening back to this episode just to hear you go, oh.
All together now.
Okay, I'm done.
Levi.
2.
Simple.
It sucks.
It sucks.
They didn't even pay enough attention to leave Kit Fisto's body.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah,
Which
Kit
was
Fisto's
your conspiracy theory when we were 10
Yeah.
that he survived and Mace Windu was giving him like
Crawls
hand signals
away.
behind his back.
Yeah,
Crawls away.
like Goro Sensei.
His head tails become animate and they spider his body away.
I haven't even seen Assassination Classroom, but that's what the main character does. Only it's Kit Fisto's tendrils on the back of his head.
The last I checked, he turns into a ball, but that's beside the point.
Yeah,
That's like-
there's that.
Okay.
2, it's really bad. So like the bare minimum criteria is there. They're lightsabers, and they're
worse than that.
officially they're fighting.
Just like they're officially racing.
There's an extra.
No.
Hell yeah. And
You're both.
it gets an extra point because how they destroy the windows kind of pretty.
That's really cool. That's a cool
And
bit.
then Mace fell out the
Siege
window.
of Mandalore.
Of course, you had to make
Mace
that
fell out
joke.
the window.
Which is the best part of that fight. 'Cause, I hate Mace Windu.
Ooh, hot take.
No.
Mace Windu
know what? I'm
It's not a hot
is
take.
Snoke.
You're not the only one.
Shut up. No,
Thank you.
no. We are not touching Snoke Windu.
I created Snoke.
Said Mace Windu.
threw him out of the factory.
Lexi, what do you think of this battle?
I'm so
thought
glad
we
you
weren't gonna
asked.
touch it.
2.5.
2.5.
The half is for the corkscrew.
Yeah.
It
As
is
it
also
should
for
be.
the screeching and the faces. I'm upset that these other Jedi Masters haven't been able to, show their stuff. And I barely know who they are, and they're there for no reason. So,
Solid.
2.5.
Solid.
Yeah,
That's something to be said about the prequels. Like
Connor.
every council meeting.
me and my council
Really?
loving ass.
Not that dope.
Really
I'm
not
gonna
that
give my
dope.
ranking. I'm gonna give my ranking first, and then I'll give my reasons. My ranking is a 1. The reasons pretty much what Spencer said, but I'll make it more succinct.
Thank you.
If you're talking about the build-up to a duel, the build-up was really good.
Yeah.
But
Yes.
the fact that Palpatine corkscrews and kills 3 very experienced Jedi Masters and makes them look like chumps is just horrific. Like, are you kidding me? I would love at least a minute max of Palpatine going against those 3, along with Windu, before dispatching all 3 of them.
It
That
was
would've
just
been
disrespectful.
amazing. Agreed,
Disrespect,
Lexi.
man.
And then just the choreography is just so stiff.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It just feels
unimaginative.
so
that's the perfect word for it, Connor. I think you hit it on the head with that.
like. I rewatched it, I think, during my rewatch before Rise of Skywalker, and I was just like, why does this fight feel so off to me? Oh, it's stiff, that's why. So yeah, just a 1.
Stiff.
That's really it. I mean,
1.
it's, yeah.
So I am going to offer the Lucast of lukewarm defense of this fight as somebody who also thinks it's dog shit.
I enjoy watching it.
The back and forth is great.
Somewhat.
Like you say,
But-
Connor, the lead up to it, in the name of the Galactic Senate of the Republic, you under arrest. Are you threatening
It has
death?
the makings
Yeah.
of an epic showdown.
Like,
It does.
Like the fight is a masterclass in fuck around and find out. Like like that is Palpatine's energy the whole time. From "Are you threatening me, Master Jedi?" Like that's this moment of, you know, I've wanted to kill you for a very long time, right? The thought of re-editing the fight so that Aegon, Stacey, and Kit all got a fighting chance has never honestly even crossed my mind. And I'm so upset that we don't get to see that. And like, you know, I'm the guy who's like a simp for the entirety of the Clone War era Jedi Council. Stacey Tin is my favorite in that bunch, in that group. And I remember as a kid seeing in the trailer that in a row that it was Aegon Cole, it was all of them. And I remember getting excited because, you know, my stupid little kid ass who had no friends because he had a Stacey Tin action figure. Because I was just like, oh, he's cool. I was like, Stacey Tin gets to fight the Emperor, and he's dead fucking instantly. Just like every other Jedi I had fallen in love with as a kid. In like the next 5 minutes. But I enjoy.
No, I can't relate.
This duel is kind of like the Room of Star Wars fights, where like because of the corkscrew and the Force scream and the faces and the shit choreography and the CGI Palpatine face in several points in the fight, and also again I must reiterate the faces and the, you know, no, you will die and shit like that.
That's the only part of the duel I kind of genuinely like.
It's kind of ironically fun. However, this fight could have been mostly cut and replaced with Anakin versus Mace, and I will die on that hill. I give it a 3.
That would have been cool to see.
I give it a 3.
If you were Palpatine, how much time do you think you would have to spend practicing jettisoning your saber down your arm? Because like if you don't catch it at exactly the right second, it just like shoots onto the ground, and you're like, "Give me 1 second, guys." And you're like,
Tink, tink, tink.
"Aha! Okay, now I'm ready."
Can we also address the fact that Clone Wars like magnificently retcon that hilarious continuity error? That Sidious's lightsaber goes flying out the fucking window, and that Clone Wars had the foresight to go, Sidious had 2 lightsabers.
Oh. Incredible.
That's a 1.92 out of 10.
Wow.
Yoda.
Yes.
I think that is decidedly our loser.
Yeah.
Yeah. We can speed round the next one, and then obviously the Battle of Heroes is going to be a little bit more
Yoda v
beefy.
Sidious.
What did we say for this last one?
1.92. So the next one is Yoda v Sidious.
Yes.
Speed round, right? So
I mean, just because there's not a whole lot to latch onto, and the
Right.
Battle of the Heroes is definitely going to be a meatier conversation.
well, we should still try. We're at an hour and a half now, so
Okay. We knew this would be a beefy boy when we
So-
got into it.
5. It's cool.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool. No, wait, it's pretty cool. So, what? 0.5?
That's a 5.5.
Yeah.
5.5. Pretty cool.
Yeah,
It's
pretty is an extra half a point.
yes.
Cool. Cool.
So for me, I think that this fight is pretty. The concept of it is really awesome. Like the Grand Master of the Jedi Order going toe to toe with the leader of the Senate in the Senate chamber, like with the, like going into the actual rotunda or whatever you call
The
it,
senator. You know,
with the what the heck do you,
the pods.
the the pods, but also like the pulpit that comes up from the middle.
Oh, yeah.
That as a concept is really cool. A couple things that I tend to laugh at this fight more than I do be like, whoa, that's really cool, for 2 really big reasons. First of all, in like his office below the audience, like the main Senate chamber, when Yoda, not anything to say about it, I have, and he force pushes it, like the hilarity of slow motion as Palpatine like
Goes ass over tea
tumbles
kettle.
backwards over his chair. I'm like, seriously?
This is your emperor.
This is right? Like, this is so ungraceful. Can't we do any better? Come on, get this stunt double in here. Let's make this believable. I think aside from that like the opening sequence, your arrogance blinds you, blah 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 blah. That like all that stuff. I've waited a long time for this moment. Those are cool lines.
I think that's my favorite part
seeing-
of Palpatine and Revenge of the Sith is like both as horrible as it is, both with Mace and then later with Yoda, just the fact that he's dripping with like, you have no idea how long I've wanted to kill your ass.
Also, when Palpatine is like dangling from a pod and he's laughing and he goes like, I laugh at that. It's not scary. I'm like, you're crazy, man. You're nuts. Overall, like, again, this is a fight that has a really cool setting and a really cool build up, but in the end it just falls a little bit short for me. I'm gonna give it a 4.
It's also being cut back and forth with
Right.
another more
Right.
momentous fight.
Honestly,
Yeah.
I love watching the full cut, like snip together versions of both of those fights on like YouTube
Yeah.
without the breaks. I mean, granted, I do like in the movie watching them go back and forth, but I also like watching them all like just uncut and just.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I
Anyways,
agree.
Levi.
It is a 5. Decidedly average for me.
Decidedly cool.
Have anything else to say about that?
No.
All right, Lexi.
4.5.
4.5.
Yeah, that's all. That's my take.
Connor.
I wish it was longer. 5.
Okay.
Fair enough.
Yeah, that's pretty much right. I'm about a 6 with this one. I just like you said, Spencer. I like the idea of basically the avatar of the light and the avatar of the dark side. They are. It's almost, now that we have the full saga, it's kind of like a precursor to Rey and Sidious.
Yeah.
Like, I think that's in that I am all the Jedi, I am all the Sith. Like, you have the culmination of what those orders were at the time,
And what they represent, and
that's what I like
skill
about that
sets.
fight.
Do you
It's
feel like
purely
this
symbolic?
fight is just like underwhelming?
it is.
Like,
it's
especially for the top of the top going at it, and you're just like, well, all right.
it seems like a very circumstantial stalemate.
The most impressive part of the fight happens off screen, and it's the fact that Yoda disarms Sidious.
Yeah.
Because halfway through the fight, they cut back and neither of them have their or Sidious doesn't have a lightsaber anymore. So at one point, Yoda took Sidious's blade
Yeah.
away.
Yeah.
And the fact that Yoda was able to disarm him after,
it's-
massacred 3 Jedi, was able to fight Mace Windu to at least a stalemate. And
It's all this build up, and then it just flat.
Yeah, it doesn't.
yeah,
it
Connor's
doesn't-
right. It should have been longer.
It seems like a very circumstantial stalemate. Like Yoda, like you said, at one point he disarmed him. He has the opportunity, at every point in this fight until Yoda falls down to the ground. It seems like Yoda has the edge. Like at no point in that fight until it's over, am I like, oh, Yoda can't win this. So it seems like there isn't a really compelling and when Yoda's like, go into exile, I must, like, failed, I have. I'm like, bro, you didn't fail.
You barely fought him.
You barely fought him, and you had the edge for most of that fight. I don't see any reason why it ended when it did. Besides, you fell.
Yoda's like, ow, I hurt my back. I'm done now. See you guys later.
Anyway,
And our average for
Is 5.
an even 5.
Exactly, yeah, exactly.
All right.
And for
finally,
the culmination,
Yes. The birth of Darth Vader. The Battle of Heroes. Obi-Wan versus pre-suit Vader
all right,
on
listen.
Mustafar.
Listen.
not yet fresh
Okay.
off the table.
You have to understand how much I love this. And I gave another one a 10. I can't remember which one I
It
gave.
was
a
Duel
10.
of the Fates.
Was it? I gave that a 10. This one is better. I love it more. But I'm giving it a 9.9.
Why the
Standing on the table, flaring their lightsabers in the middle of nowhere, making zero contact for a solid 5 seconds.
So you're deducting for the Obi-Wan spin?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. But I love it more. Just let that be known.
It was like, in the name of fairness, I have to dock you points for this fucking nonsense.
Stupid. It makes no sense.
I mean, you could argue that they're so familiar with each other's fighting styles at that point.
They
just
are
making excuses.
This there's no argument. It's literally like they are familiar with each other's fighting styles.
Yeah, they fight in tandem with each other so often.
But here's the thing. That would make sense if the lightsabers were coming really close to each other. You had this like
I don't know.
this
It's a defensive move.
like
I'm guessing that both of
You
them
know,
are
like-
like expecting the other person to attack at that exact second, and they're like, "Oh, wait, we're both defending," and that's when they lock.
But like I equate what it should be to there's a movie called Ip Man, whatever IP Man, whatever you want to call it. It's I say Ip
with
Man,
Donnie Yen.
but it's
love that
Donnie.
one.
Oh, yeah, he's awesome. But it's all about Wing Chun, and they have these really awesome fights where their arms are locked, touching, but they're in this super fluid, like matching every single move. Neither of them break contact with their hands. Like that's what it should have been.
Or I would even say this.
Not
like
even a blade lock though, but like close.
I was gonna say not a close, like more analogous because it's a lightsaber duel. You guys remember the Ryan versus Brandon 2 lightsaber duel? That one shot,
That's a throwback.
Where it's funny enough, they're both using blue lightsaber blades at that point. Where like the camera's panning around them in the 360-degree
And
angle,
just, like,
and it's
doing
just
every possible pivot
every single angle and velocity the lightsaber can attain. It's just boom, 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 and it's shot so beautifully in that 360-degree.
Right.
That's what that scene should have
and
been.
maybe even like a 0.75 times speed. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
hell, even slow it
just
down a little
slow motion, and it's like still fast but slow motion. Like you edit
like
the
Zack
odd-
Snyder slow motion.
Anyways,
Yeah.
like we're geeking out about what it should be, but we have to realize what it isn't.
Yeah,
Did you ever watch Ip Man?
I have not. but I
So
want
good.
to.
There's 4 of them.
That guy was Bruce Lee's teacher.
Yes, in real life.
Nice.
Yeah, Bruce Lee was like 7 years old, showed up on his front door, and then he was like, "Come back when you're older." And then he came back when he was like 16 or 17 and like trained with him. It's like really cool stuff.
Oh, that's fascinating.
Spencer.
Yeah, the Battle of the Heroes for me is the best choreographed and paced lightsaber fight in the Skywalker saga. I love that it moves and that it's really edgy and like it doesn't make sense, but like this is Star Wars. There's some suspension of disbelief there. You're probably not going to be flying through the air in the greatest of ease, like swinging back and forth on cables like the freaking trapeze. Like that just doesn't happen with a lightsaber.
That was
fight.
a really fire bar.
You don't know that song?
No.
No,
That's a trapeze song. It's like they fly through the air with the
I know,
greatest
but
of
the fact
ease.
that the way you
Flying
said
trapeze.
it, but the fact that you like just spoke the
that.
back part, it was just like you do it in your freestyle. I didn't know this
wanted to walk
podcast was just
away.
your mixtape now.
With volcanoes erupting all around them. Forget the fact that Mustafar is a volcanic planet and that there's volcanoes going off all over the place. Like this is like the setting of it is bordering on unrealistic and unbelievable, but this is Star Wars. This is a very climactic moment. What the heck? I'll suspend my disbelief because it's cool. And orange is my favorite color, so I'll take as much lava as they want to give me. I think, like Joel said, besides the somewhat outrageous choreographed moves like the spinny spin and also the continuity errors with the lightsabers.
Oh my god, it's so weird because they deleted entire chunks where both of them had both lightsabers at one point, and
Yeah, there's good reasons for why it's messed up, but it's still messed up and it's hard to miss these days. But overall, really like crisp, fast. intense choreography. I'll give it a 9.5.
All right. Levi, Battle of the Heroes.
8, way too long.
Way too awesome, I think
I
you
thought
meant to say.
I thought the fact that they were still fighting as they were climbing was a wee dumb.
You would
and-
be. I mean, this guy's trying to kill you. Of course you want to fight him back. Anyway.
And that's my answer.
Good.
Alexis Capel, you have the high ground.
Thank you, sir. I have a lot of the same opinions as Spencer, and I was also going to give it a 9.5.
Samesies.
Samesies, yes. It's a great fight.
yeah.
And, you know, you're watching Anakin and Obi-Wan, and it's sad, and it's great, and it's everything. And it makes me depressed.
Breaks your heart.
Yeah, so
By the end.
9.5.
He deserved it.
Yeah, I mean, probably did.
Levi's like, that bitch deserved a lava bath. Changed my mind.
I mean, I didn't say he didn't. But it's sad.
It is sad. It is. It is a lot
TBH,
to
she
take
didn't
in.
actually fall in the lava.
Obi-Wan should have just had the stones to give him a quick push and be done with it.
He was just close
Yeah.
enough
I know
to
he was sad.
catch on
but
fire.
Well, again, that's where the
Even though they were close enough
novelization
to
comes
catch on
in.
fire
'Cause-
before.
The novel says that the reason Obi-Wan didn't do it was he was like, this is like really out of character for Obi-Wan, but Obi-Wan was like, I see how much pain you're in, and quite frankly, fuck you, you deserve it. And he also went, this is probably gonna kill you, so I'm not too worried about it. Also, my force senses just went off, and holy shit, Palpatine's here, and he's not even pretending to be a Sith, and this is kind of freaking me out.
Pretending not to be a Sith.
Yeah. He's not even pretending not to be a Sith, so I can feel him from half a planet away, and he's really close now. I need to get the fuck out of here and scoop Padme up. Hopefully you die, and you earned this, and left.
So Levi just brought up a good point, so I give him all the credit for this. But the whole point of him, catching on fire is that he's so close to the lava, and the lava's so hot that it's like he just spontaneously combusts right into flames.
Yeah.
But the whole time, they are even closer to the lava by standing on a piece of
On the
sheet metal
platform.
floating in the lava, and they don't catch fire.
The only bullshit excuse I can give you, and I preface that with bullshit excuse, is that there is a shield on the platform, and that's why the shield isn't on fire.
Yeah.
It should have levitated higher
Also,
above.
Right,
I
but
think,
it's small
I think it's
enough.
I think there's also time that goes into it. Like, even as they're that close to it, they're not that close to it for very long. I think the closest any of them gets to an open pool of lava is when Anakin hops on that little robot, and it like goes half into the lava, and it's like, whoa, I got to drop my payload, and then it like loses enough weight that it can go back up again. And even then, that's leather. Leather doesn't ignite easily. I think
What if that's the only thing keeping him from catching on fire was his leather boots?
boots.
And that's why Obi-Wan took his legs. He's like, and now your 100% cotton trousers will be the death of you, sandy low ground. Have fun.
Hello, Sandy low ground.
Sorry, okay,
Nice to
off
meet you,
topic.
Sandy.
Connor,
My only criticism is that it's a wee bit too long,
I think
and
it
like
is.
a few of the choreographed parts of it are like a wee bit too odd, but it's still so dope. So I will give it a 9.8.
yes, yes.
I like this fight.
Nah, fuck
More-
it, 10.
Okay, readjusting my math.
I like this fight more for what it has to say than what it shows. Symbolism in Star Wars is very rarely subtle, and the idea of having Anakin and Obi-Wan fight through hell, and that Vader is born in like a demonic fire, and the fact that Anakin is meant to be this Luciferian analog in the way that George Lucas wrote him, to be this fallen angel. I love the symbolism there. I think it is very, very, very potent in its use. I think it's the best choreographed fight in the prequels, and the fact that on paper it's the best choreographed fight, and this shows how much editing matters in a fight scene, because the editing brings this fight down so much. There are so many great cross cuts. There are so many great moves that you can see in the behind the scenes. There is an 1.5 hour long documentary about the making of this fight on the special features. You can barely see how incredible the stunt work from Ewan McGregor and Hayden Christensen is. And they did this whole fight. It was just Ewan and Hayden. No stunt doubles.
I love him. Ewan McGregor.
They're incredible, both of them. And they don't get enough credit for this fight alone. And it's because it's edited so poorly. And I think that literally just keeping this fight in a wide shot for 90% of it, save for more emotional-based close-ups, I think this fight improves tenfold. Obviously, the emotional moment at the end, my brother Anakin, I loved you, all of that all speaks for itself. It's heart-wrenching, seeing Vader be born again in this hellscape of just loneliness and anger and isolation and this fucked up self-fulfilling prophecy that is the birth of Vader. It's all heartbreaking. I'm gonna give it a 9, and that 1 point is deducted because of the editing. Outside of that, it is a masterpiece of a fight, and Star Wars is poetry. It rhymes, and whenever we eventually do the sequel trilogy, I'll be able to explain why this is second only to the fight on Kefbir for me, because it is, again, the reverse of Vader and Kylo Ren. Vader is born in a hellscape fire, and Kylo Ren dies so that Ben Solo can be reborn in a baptismal tidal wave. But we'll get into that symbolism whenever we do the sequel trilogy fights.
And your rankings.
What's the total for Battle of the Heroes?
Oh, 9.37.
I'm working on the ranking right now.
We'll go backwards. Number 9 is the Council versus Sidious.
Understandably so, that fight sucks.
At a pitiful 1.92
Out of 10.
At 8th place, Qui-Gon versus Maul. With a 3.6 out of 10. Number 7 is Count Dooku versus Yoda. 4.42 out of 10. The number 6, Obi-Wan versus Grievous. 4.92 out of 10. At number 5 is Yoda versus Sidious. At an even 5 out of 10.
The only even.
At number 4 is the first take of Dooku versus Obi-Wan and Anakin, standing at a 6.5 out of 10. Number 3, Dooku's second take with Obi-Wan and Anakin is a 7.67 out of 10. At number 2, the Battle of the Heroes at 9.37, and number 1 is the Duel of the Fates, 9.82 out of 10.
That's good. You notice that, until the top 3, there was a pretty steady curve, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Yes, I did.
And then it went 7, 9.5, 10.
In order of earliest to end,
Yeah.
it's on a ranking of 8, 1, 4, 7, 3, 6, 9, 5, 2.
So even there's a pretty even spread throughout.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like a whole. It's like.
It's
goes-
not a top heavy or a bottom heavy trilogy.
No.
It all evens out.
1 is way better. The adjacent, you can see the first one is the worst, and then the second one is the best.
Doing it this way, I'm just now realizing, speaking of top heaviness, how top heavy doing a list like this is. Because I'm pretty sure we could squeeze the OT and the sequel trilogy into one pod.
Yeah.
but like
That's what I was saying. I don't think we need to make
9
this
fights
this
here. Holy
a
shit!
3-part series. I think
But
we
2
could
for
do.
sure.
Yeah, we can do it in 2.
Yeah.
So
Definitely.
tune in for 2 weeks from now.
Yeah, hopefully we'll see. Again, we have some.
We have things lined up for you.
We have
people.
some buns in the oven that we hopefully can bust out for you guys before then.
We do.
And for those of you who are keeping track at home, the Connor rankings are as follows. Hella dope means 10 points. Dope is 8 points. Cool is 5 points. Fine is 2 points. Not that dope is 1 point. And any instance where really comes into play.
Really or pretty.
Really or pretty are both an additional 0.5.
Thank
There
you.
you go. That's that.
It's the
Joel,
official
take a
Connor
picture
ranking.
of that so that can be published on the website. We gotta actually publish this with the episode.
The Chiquiti grading scale.
Well, I meant the rankings, but yes, the Chiquiti grading scale.
Oh, I wasn't talking about the rankings. I was talking about the Chiquiti grading scale.
Oh, that's a hella dope hurricane coming at us. That's a cool hurricane.
Really hella dope.
The fact that
say
I'm
hella
here
dope? I
is
don't-
not that
Did I
dope.
really?
Yes, you did. You said hella
Okay.
dope.
'Cause I don't remember that.
It was the last thing you said.
All right.
Interesting. Because for me, incredibly dope is a 10.
Incredibly dope is
Well,
just off the charts.
When you did say hella
Okay,
dope,
okay, true, fair.
when you said hella dope, it was only a 9.8.
To be fair.
Yeah.
And then you said,
Oh,
why
okay,
not?
okay.
Let's make it 10.
Okay, yeah. I
And,
gotcha.
and why not is 10?
Yeah.
Why
Why
not?
not?
Well, that's not what he said.
Yeah, fuck it, it's 10.
Yeah.
Yeah, fuck it, it's 10. Connor, where can the lovely people find you?
The lovely people can find me on Twitter at DepaBanana. Literally just talking about Jedi Fallen Order. They can find me on Instagram at ConmanJFO, pretty much doing nothing on that app because there's not much to it. I still love it though. And you can find me on Facebook, admin in the Alliance of Star Wars Fanatics, a Star Wars Facebook group where our entire mission and philosophy is to discuss Star Wars constructively, positively, and respectfully.
Sweet. Not enough of that in the world. Lexi, where can the lovely people find you?
Sigh.
Instagram
We're such an
at
inconvenience to her.
Acapella98. What'd you just say to me?
Nothing.
Can I finish, please? Thank
Yes,
you.
sorry.
Instagram Acapella98 and Twitter at LexiLion98.
Yee. Joel,
Yes, sir.
where can the lovely people find you, sir?
You can find no, okay. That's another thing that Spencer does. You can find me on Instagram at Bassin Bacon Cosplay and on Twitter at J the Sentinel.
What about your photography page?
Well, if you really want to find
Plug
out
it.
my photography, J Basinback Photography.
There you go.
Thank you.
Spencer, where can the lovely people find you?
You can find me on Instagram at SpenceMan Cosplay and on Twitter complaining about the horribly short-lived life of lightning bugs. On Twitter at SpenceMan49. It was horrible. It was horrible. If you want to know what I'm talking about, then check the pinned tweet on my account.
That's your pinned tweet.
Yeah, because I feel like it really speaks to me.
I'm checking right now.
It was
I
it
saw
was the
and
worst.
it's so
It
sad.
was absolutely the worst. I couldn't do anything.
I want Joel to
just
read
watch.
it aloud once he finds it.
I couldn't do anything. I just
Okay,
watch.
for
I'm a
those that
grown
want to
man.
know,
Wait,
for those
hold
that
on, hold
want
on,
to know,
Connor.
Spencer's-
Hold up. We gotta hear the tweet from Joel.
I'm a grown man.
That's what I was going to read.
Oh, go ahead, Connor.
Okay.
Based on how Joel started it, I think Connor would read it more accurately than in my voice. Joel was like, "I'm a grown man, but."
I was being dramatic.
Okay, so
Connor's
I'll
got
read
this.
it.
Dramatic effect.
I'm a grown man, but I was on the highway last night and a bunch of fireflies got splattered on my windshield. I nearly cried.
It's true. It was so horrible.
Is
like
that almost a haiku?
I
I nearly cried.
I nearly cried. No, that's
No?
it's not even close. It's
can't
not even
remember the
close to a
numbers.
haiku.
I'm
But,
a
like,
grown man is already breaking the.
I don't know how haiku
But,
works. I
like,
just know that
These guys, the first one happened, and I was like, "Whoa, what is that?" There's something green and glowing on my windshield, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, no!" And then like I hit like 15 in the course of a minute, and like I was just like, "No, no!" It was awful. I couldn't do anything.
I'm
Might
sorry.
have been the fake fireflies.
Like the government
Might
drones.
have been the fireflies from the first Last of Us.
What?
No, but there's a bug that mutated to look like a lightning bug because it lures them in and then it eats them.
Really
Oh yeah, I remember
Yes.
you guys talking about that at camp.
interesting.
Do you know that most moth species do not eat after they hatch out of the cocoons?
I did not know
They
that.
don't have
Like
mouths.
they no longer eat. They're done.
They live long enough to mate.
And that's it.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That
So
kinda
then
makes
why?
sense.
So then why are there so many holes in the clothes I keep in my attic, Levi?
I said
Explain that.
Because I said most.
Destroyed by
species.
facts and logic, and also the clothes in my attic.
Sipping Levi tears out of his mug.
All, the clothes in my attic, I feel like it's going to become the new, and my cock and also my balls.
I don't even think we
And
made
it's
that
in my
joke
attic.
on air. Oh my god.
And also the
Wow.
clothes in my attic.
Travis's
Okay.
ears perked up at work. He went.
What? Somebody
Someone
used my line.
made a C and also my B joke. What's going on? Levi, where can the lovely people
Who's
find
left?
you?
Oh yeah.
Find me on Twitter at Levi_bomb because I didn't realize
Because you are the bomb.
that I could make a creative tag. So,
You da bomb.
Jared,
Did you change the spelling?
no,
No.
and I don't know how to change it now. So
I could teach you.
cool. Nobody's contacted me yet, so I have a feeling I'll be able to without much trouble. Jared, where can the lovely people find you?
You guys can find me on Twitter and Instagram at DarkJedi2552, and you can find the Nerd Academy podcast on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and our website, www.thenerdacademypodcast.com, where, if you're feeling generous, you can chuck in a couple credits to help us keep the lights on around these parts. Spencer and I will have a new episode of the Star Wars Versus series coming down the pipeline soon, Count Dooku versus Exar Kun. Very excited for that one. And you get access to Campus Life a week early and other goodies as we go. With that, we are honored that you have joined us, and may the Force be with you always.